Broadcasting live from an undisclosed location in the universe. Welcome to Iggy Garcia Live, the show where metaphysics, holistic living, motivation, and inspiration come together to empower your mind, body, and soul. We will dive deep into the realms of metaphysical wisdom, exploring the fascinating connections between mind and matter. Get ready to ignite your inner spark and embrace a journey of self-discovery. So, sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride.
Iggy here. So, gonna start off like I usually start off. This is episode, I think, 193, I believe. Iggy Garcia live here, so we're gonna do a little ceremony. We're gonna give thanks, and as we always do, we light a candle, giving thanks to our ancestors. We'll let that burn a little bit. It'll burn itself to a certain place. So I want to take a little time here and just kind of reflect a little bit about this year and how fast it went. It doesn't seem like it went fast, but when you start getting down to, November, December, everything just starts to move much quicker, much faster. And so in our thoughts, when we start to think about all the things that we did or could have done or should have done, and quite frankly, it's not always according to plan. Some things happen, and some things we are successful in doing, some things we're not. So hopefully you got to succeed in the areas that you wanted to succeed in and do the things that you wanted to do. Hopefully you were able to manifest and create things this year in 2023 as we begin to move in the Gregorian calendar into 2024 and preparing ourselves psychologically for the next phase of our life as we get closer each year. We're getting a little bit older, right? At least I am. So, excuse me. So we're here getting ready to wrap it up. So it's the 30th. So the 30th, well, actually it's 20, yeah, it's 29th, 30. So we have the next 3 days to, kind of think about what we accomplished or didn't accomplish this year. And, for some people, it's really not about accomplishments. It's just about being in the moment and being present. But for other people, it's very important to know, that they were able to manifest and create and put themselves in a certain situation where they can actually benefit and grow. It's not easy to necessarily grow when we're trying to work on ourselves, and growth is based on what we value, what we think about, and sometimes we are our worst enemy because we think we have to do something a certain way. And I know we create a standard for ourselves, and sometimes the standard is too much, too high, or sometimes it's too low. Sometimes we don't give ourselves enough to grow from. But regardless, you're going to be growing. We're going to be growing. You're going to be coming into that space. You're going to be coming into that place where you're creating. So 2023 for me was kind of like the year where I kind of was able to work on the aspects of my physical body, which coincides with my spiritual, side of myself. And, I had some really high peaks where I felt fantastic and amazing. I mean, those of you who know me probably noticed that I haven't been very active lately, that I haven't been really present in the sense of promoting or doing or like I usually do. I've been kind of doing a lot more classes, been teaching a lot more. I've been more focused on, creating environments where people can learn. And as I do my work, I'm also working on myself. I have my friends in Zendo have been great to open up their space for learning, and I've been working through there with them and trying to get things moving in a positive direction. Also helping them and teaching them and learning from each other, learning from one another. And so that's been a good plus, and I hope to continue that relationship with them. This coming Saturday, we have a drum circle at the Ricky Center at 7 p.m. for those of you who are interested in drumming. So, we got a lot of stuff coming up. I'm working on the calendar right now for the next coming season, for the next year. All the big events are posted on my website. They're actually posted on my Facebook page. So, Ash Cave is set. We also have Gathering 1,000 Drummers. We have the other Ash Cave. So those things are set. Now I'm going to do the individual sets. For those of you who are going to travel to Peru with me and my friend Victor, you go to my website, iggygarcia.com. Look up spiritual travel. There's 2 packages. There's a 7-day package, and there's also a 10-day package. So I want to be able to share that with you guys because one is an ayahuasca package, one is not. But we all travel together, but up to a certain point, then some of us go back home. So those deposits are coming due for those of you who want to travel. For those of you who want to pay in complete full, you'll want to send a check to me, or we figure out some way to get the money to me so you can get a 5% discount on that. So this journey to Sacred Peru and see Machu Picchu and all these different sites that we're going to does not include airfare to Peru, but it does include all the flights and stuff in Peru. Yeah, that's all included. But you'll have to book your flight to Peru. And those of us who are traveling, I'm going to get together with you guys pretty soon. We're going to see if we can all get on the same plane together as much as possible. Some of you have your own frequent flyer miles and you can just travel. You don't need that. But it's an exciting time to do something different. What I'm encouraging people to do this year is to try to do things that you haven't, things that you've talked about versus things that you didn't. For many years, we've all been, in that place where we just kind of talk about stuff, bucket lists and different things like that. You know, if you wait too long, there's either not going to be a bucket or your bucket's going to have a hole. So sometimes I find that, doing and getting into action and springing into action makes a huge difference versus trying to wait for something to develop naturally. Sometimes we have to push it, and sometimes people help us get into that space. But regardless, like when we're going to Peru, we're traveling to South America to Peru. The biggest thing is to, just have faith and trust in the people you're with. Sure, you can get other packages and you can find things cheaper or whatever, however you like, if you dig hard enough. But you're traveling with a certain group of people. You're traveling with the people you know. You're traveling with myself and a few other people. So it's not like we're total strangers. And it's with the people that you want to learn from and create with. So this is one of those things, it's what value you put on whatever you're going to do. It's like one bottle of water costs different in every place you go, right? You can go to the grocery store and a bottle of water costs you $2. You can go to the movie theaters and the same bottle of water costs you $4. You can go into a fancy restaurant, the same bottle of water costs you $10. So it's not so much that the water is special or whatever. It's the environment, it's where you're at and what you are presented and how you present. So many people get stuck in the energy that, well, I can get that for $2. I can get it for 50 cents down the street. Absolutely, you're correct. You're absolutely right. And you should get it for 50 cents if you can. But when you are engaged in a situation where you're eating out, well, you're expected to pay a little bit more because they have to pay rent, they have to pay employees, they have to pay their gas bills, they have all these things that sometimes as consumers we don't take for granted. We take for granted. We're just kind of going, oh, well, I don't know why they charge so much. Well, then you should stay home, buy a steak at Kroger's or wherever you shop, and cook it yourself and be happy. But when you go out and when you enjoy life, it's about being in that moment and appreciating what you're doing and who you're with, even if you're by yourself. If you're by yourself, enjoy it as well. But if you're with other people or a significant other, enjoy that moment. Be in that moment with them. Be in that present moment. Because sometimes as human beings we get stuck in our own stories about how things should be versus how they really are and how we see them and how we project upon them. And sometimes when we project our energy upon things, it can be very confusing. It can be very weird and be very strange. Like I give you the example of the bottled water, how it costs different in all the different scenarios that I presented to you. And it's because where you're at. It's kind of like the story of the violinist. There's a story about a violinist I saw on social media where he decided, this is a very famous violinist, and the violin cost like I think it's like $1 million violin. So he went to the subway and played. Nobody knew who he was. I mean, unless you really knew who he was. But he played his violin to, the crowd walking through, and he made $30. And then, he went to the hall where he was going to play, and of course they paid him like a lot of money to play. So I thought it was really interesting to think, how sometimes we don't put value on ourselves when we don't give ourselves enough credit, and we don't put enough value in who we are. Sometimes we think that we have to play the subway. Sure, sometimes we do because that's where you have to start. But there are so many talented people all over the world. And for some reason or another, they don't see themselves as talented. They don't see themselves as worthy sometimes to be acknowledged for what they do and how they do it. And I see this in my own family. I see this with my nephews, my children, and I watch them and I'm like, man, you guys are amazing. If I had half the talent or remotely knew how to do that, this is what I would do. Of course, that's what all parents say, right? That's what all uncles and parents say. But you see the gifts in other people, and you see wonders for them. You can paint a beautiful a picture for them, and you can see the things that sometimes they don't see. So how do we help people to see the beauty inside themselves? Well, I'm here to tell you sometimes people won't see it. They won't see it because they're just not open to the process. And that's okay. And some of us get stuck in trying to fix people and trying to show people. For example, I want to learn to play the bagpipes. I don't know if these guys have learned that story because in my lineage, also in my heritage, I have a little Scottish in me, and that rebel Scots. But I have a lot of ancestors in me. I have a lot of lineage. My most prominent is indigenous Peruvian, but I have a lot of people who are from Europe as well. We would call mestizo. We're mixed. So it's interesting. And when you do your family history, and I wanted to learn bagpipes, and I was going to buy a bagpipe, and I was getting ready to do all this stuff, and I just put it off because I trusted that the universe was going to do something that I just have to trust. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, universe, I know I could buy this bagpipe. They're not necessarily expensive, the starter ones, right? So, I mean, it's something I can afford. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, fine. Because, I wanted to learn the bagpipe because I love it, number one. Number two, when we have bagpipers come into our drum circles, it just does something amazing to the circle. There's something about those instruments that just liven it up. Something primal just comes out of us. Something, and quite frankly, I just love it. So I'm, taking my time. I think I'm going to get a backpack. Keep talking about something because I truly want to learn this. I've already made up my mind in 2024, and I know it takes a long process. So my friend, April calls me. She sends me a message. Hey, I got bagpipes. You want them? Oh, a bagpipe and something. Okay. So I asked, is there anything? She's like, no, I just promise me you're gonna learn. No, don't quit. And I'm thinking, so wow, this is like crazy, amazing. This is like I had no clue this would happen. So at some point, I will meet these new bagpipes. They belong to my friend April, and we're going to go on a journey of learning. And so I'm thinking, cool. And we talked a little bit. Got to rearrange some pickup time. But yeah, I was just like, this is kind of how my life is. There's times where when you have to jump on something, you have to do it, and then there's another time where you're just like, gotta wait, gotta wait a little bit. Something good's coming around the corner. That intuitive, thought, that activation inside our heart, our spirit. So this is kind of one of those things. So now, at some point, I will start learning to play the bagpipes, and I'm thinking to myself, this is really cool. I'm excited. I'm really. She told me it probably takes like 7 years to learn, but I'm like, okay, well, shoot, I got nothing to do, in 7 years other than to live and survive and be myself. And in the later part of my life, I'll be hopefully playing the bagpipes proficiently. I actually play clarinet and flute and all the other instruments. A lot of people don't know that. So I do have experience with woodwind instruments. I know that the bagpipes are a complete different instrument. I totally get it. It's not the same. But I'm really chilled. I'm really excited because now I get to learn a new instrument, and so I'm really stoked that she wanted to give me her bagpipes because it's not every day someone just gives you bagpipes. And so, like I said, I have to make arrangements to pick up the bagpipes from her and begin my journey in learning how to play bagpipes. So that's where we're going. So Iggy Garcia is going to learn how to play bagpipes, and we're going to incorporate the bagpipes into the drum circles at one point. Now I'm a fast learner. People don't know that about me. That I learn very quickly, very fast. Like if I learn a couple things really quick, I'll start playing it. Like I'm not scared to like make mistakes. Like if because that's part of learning, right? Now I can't say I was like that, but I am like that now. Now I'm like I'm gonna learn bagpipes. Even if I hit the wrong note, I'm gonna be excited about doing it because it's one of those things that my spirit, my soul are called to. So the bagpipes are a metaphor of expanding, expansion and growth and learning and being able to know that you can do things other than the things that you've been doing. I've been a drummer for a majority part of my late 30s and 40s and part of my 50s. So I'm ready to learn something new and create something new, create new energies, and see where it takes me. Because I always look at it like this. There's a reason I'm learning this. There's a reason why this is happening because it hasn't made itself clear, and it probably won't make itself clear quite yet. But there's a journey that will develop from this, and there's something that will come from this. So this is what I'm really excited about, really stoked about, because when the universe presents something, or when you get this thought in your mind from Great Spirit, and you're like, whoa, I got to do this. If I do this, it's going to take me on this amazing journey. So I'm pretty excited about this journey that I'm about to embark on with that. You know, uh, Life goes very quick. As we get older, it just seems like it goes faster. I know as a child, I remember how life would just seem so slow and everything was just like not going very quickly. But here we are. Now as I just turned 57 here in December, or December 8th. And that was the same year, the same age when my grandfather passed away, my mom's father. He died of a heart attack. He was very stressed out human being. He was on a ship where he was in charge of. He was the captain, and it sprung a leak, an oil leak. It was actually a big cargo boat, and I think that just kind of was too much stress for him. He drank, but not like he drank his wine, but he really smoked heavy, and that's why I don't smoke because I know that it wouldn't be good for me. Smoking is just tough, and so I've never started smoking. The last time I smoked, I was, let's see, and I'm talking about cigarettes. I'm not talking about like ceremonial pipes and stuff like that. I'm talking about cigarettes. I was, geez, I was like 10 years old maybe, and my dad, my friend and I found this carton of Eve cigarettes. I don't know where we found it, but we found them, and we were smoking. They're real thin, they're real thin. We're like, look, we're cool, man. We're cool, And then, of course, my dad shows up in the garage. He finds us smoking these cigarettes. And he's like, my friend's like trying to leave. I was like, no, you stay right here. Next thing you know, my dad starts giving us more cigarettes. Oh, smoke, smoke, enjoy, smoke, keep smoking. And so next thing you know, I got like 5, 6 cigarettes in my mouth. And I'm like, that cough brought back some memories. But I started turning green. And my dad was bound and determined that I was going to smoke the whole pack of cigarettes, let alone the carton. And I tell you, he made me smoke And I inhaled, but whatever, I just remember turning green and got really sick and threw up. And of course, he made me clean it up because it's my vomit, not his vomit. But he sent my friend home, and he's like, "You gonna smoke again?" And my dad wasn't a big smoker. My dad was a casual smoker. He like could smoke casually. And I said, "Never smoke again." From that day, I swore I never smoke a cigarette. And I never smoked a cigarette. I may have puffed on one, thinking that like I'm acting cool. Never inhaled a cigarette, another cigarette after that. I mean, I already have enough lung issues as it is. I don't really need cigarettes in my body. And there's different ways for me to, deal with my stress. And cigarettes is not one of them. But, that was one of those learning moments in your life. That's one of those shifting moments that changes you. What would my life be like if I hadn't been caught and I enjoyed cigarettes and was smoking? There's this fine lines in life, these little moments that completely just change who we are and what happens and in which direction we move. And sometimes it's very evident and sometimes it's not. And sometimes, you know, one decision just changes your whole life. Like this decision to do bagpipes and my friend giving me her bagpipes and I have to make arrangements to pick them up is shifting my life already. It's already opened up doors that I have not seen yet. It's opening up doors and possibilities to new adventures. And this is what is interesting about life, that the decisions we make or don't make either evolve or don't. So even if the decisions you don't make, well, those decisions you decide not to go that way, then those things kind of dissipate and go away. But if you do go that way, then it opens a whole avenue and in scenarios to create new things. So this is why when we create, when we manifest, and when we're doing our New Year's resolutions and stuff, why it's important and why we think we have to do things a certain way. Now, if you look at the resolutions you did last year, if you have any, you can ask yourself, did I hit some of those goals? Was I able to obtain them? And the answer will be yes or no, right? Because that's usually what happens. We do or we don't. But regardless if we do or we don't, you have the chance to start over. And this is something I wanted to share. This is you don't just because you don't hit it doesn't mean you can't restart it, reset it. And the new year is just a symbolic gesture of us committing to ourselves what we want to learn and open possibilities of things that we want to accomplish. Now, there'll be moments where we feel fall short, and there'll be moments where we feel like, yeah, we did it. We're doing it. But regardless if you hit it or don't do it, remember you can reset these goals. You can reset these things to start over. You're not landlocked in the situation. But here's the thing: write your stuff down and be be concise and be detail oriented in how you do this. I have some of these things I do, and sometimes I do it, sometimes I don't. But if it's something you truly want, you have to be detail oriented. You have to be detail oriented, and you have to be able to say, "Hey, this is how I want it. This is how I need it." Because if you don't, then you'll never do it. So many of us just think it's in our head. We got in our head. We'll do it in our head. Yeah, that works for a while, and that's okay. But as you expand and grow, can you really just have it in your head? Sure, you have a supercomputer in your head. Your brain is a stronger and faster supercomputer. But sometimes we have to put notes, we have to put cards to it, and just kind of have pictures to it, and be able to say, "Hey, this is how we want to manifest and create." That way, we can have visuals. Like I have little notes and stuff that I put around my desk, little reminders and little things that in order for me to keep going. I also have these little pocket journals that I keep in my pocket that I carry. I write things down. Like if I have ideas that come up, boy, these don't cost very much. These little booklets. Carry one in your pocket because you'll have an idea and it just pops in your head, and you're gonna go, "Oh, I'll remember that. I'll do that." I tell you, don't do that. Don't do that. Write it down. Write down this little goal. Put it on paper. Make sure it's there. Because if once it goes in your head, it goes away. Then you're totally oblivious to what you even thought. And then you go, oh, what was that idea I had? I don't know. I forgot. It's gone. It's left. It's vanished. But so many of us think we rely on our capacity to think that we don't need like external help. A piece of paper, a little external help. This little tree that manifested into a little notebook. Did he know he was going to be a notebook, or did she know she was going to be a little notebook? Regardless of did they or didn't, this little tree became a little notebook. You know, and so these are the things when you look around. You look around in your desk. You look around in your life. The things that are in front of you were something else. The things that are in front of you were something else. You know, there's a petrified piece of wood in here in this stone, but you wouldn't see it unless you truly looked at it, right? And so everything just changes. Everything manifests. Everything recreates. My little guy, my little model guy. When I draw, sometimes when I paint, he was a little tree. He was part of a branch. He was part of a piece of wood. And then someone had an idea to create him into this little version of himself, this little guy, and here he is. You know, I mean, I could point out all kinds of stuff in my desk that is or was something at one point or another. But it all comes from Mother Earth. It all comes from the Earth, from Earth Mother. It all comes from that. So if you hear bouncing in the background, that's my wife. She's on the trampoline, I think. I tried to get her up earlier today, but so if you hear like squeaking, that's what that is. Anyhow, but here we are. Here we are in 2023, the speed demon year. It went by really quick, really fast. I was totally shocked to believe there were almost just several days into 2024. What happens next year? Well, at least everything's in, you know, even numbers. We don't have any odd numbers in this coming. Well, however you look at it, unless you start adding things up. But either way, I hope that 2023 was not too bad for you. I know some of us had loss. Some of us had friends and family that didn't make it through. But either way, be appreciative and be grateful for the people that are in your life, the ones who stick by you, who are with you, because they're always going to be there in one way or another, in one capacity or another. And don't get hung up on things. We all have family members that don't want nothing to do with us, and that's okay. That's more about them than it is about you. Or unless you don't want nothing to do with them, then it's more about you and then it's more about them. So the tables do turn in that sense. So as we move forward in 2024, open mind, be flexible, and I'll do a show for 2024 after we get past the new year. But I wanted to do one end show. I waited to kind of towards the end of the month. I know I usually do one in the beginning of the month, but I wanted to come down here and just say, hey, this is where we're at. This is what we did. And a lot happened this year. It went by so fast. Summer went by so fast. Everything went by so quickly. And and it just keeps going and just keeps going. Keeps getting better. That's my time, I guess, for me to stop my show since the alarm went off. Uh, so I want to thank Suzanne for the alarm as she bounces on the trampoline over there, and I'm laughing at her. So anyway, it's good to be here. Ho'oponopono matakliasin. I will see you guys when I see you. We do have a drum circle at the Reiki Center at 7 p.m. on this coming Saturday. So if you want to know any more about drummings, just go to my website at iggygarcia.com or on Facebook under my event pages. And just kind of look for stuff on Instagram, and TikTok not so much, but on Instagram definitely. I have my shorts and stuff. Subscribe to my YouTube channel at Iggy Garcia. It's good to be here. And that's the name of the page, Iggy Garcia. It's good to be here. And, drop me a line. Let me know. Subscribe. Tell your friends about the show. Tell your friends about Peru. If you want to go to Peru, let us know. Get in touch with us. You have my information at iggygarcia.com, spiritual travel, and we'll be seeing each other soon. So just enjoy the rest of these next few days that we have with each other. Do your best. Just make sure that if it's something like if something's coming up this week and you don't really want to go to it, then be firm with your no. If you really want to go to it, then be firm with your yes. Show up. Unless something cancels or something happens, you can't. But just be kind. That other people who create events, other people who create things and situations and scenarios for other people to enjoy, they put a lot of time into the work they do. Also, my friend Dom Thompson is having her ecstatic dancing at 1 to 3 at it's the Church of the Unicorn, I think it's called. It's on Indianola. That's coming Sunday. So if you guys can support her and her endeavors as well, I'm sure she'd be grateful. So I will be there too. So either way, I love you guys. Take care and be well. We'll see you next time. It's good to be here. Always remember, it's good to be here. And the good to be wear bracelets are in, and so are the hats. For some of you who want to purchase those, let me know. Drop me a line, and we'll see you soon. We'll see you Saturday, if not sooner. All right, take care. Bye bye.